there were still hints that the United States might join Israel's bombing campaign. Israel carried out strikes on Tehran overnight after Iran fired 2 new rounds of missiles. The most recent is here. As President Trump called for Iran's unconditional surrender and suggested that the United States could join the Israeli campaign against Iran's nuclear program, Israel said its warplanes struck additional nuclear and missile targets in Tehran early Wednesday. By the 6th morning, the war had reached a critical point. Israel has been requesting assistance from the U.S. military because any strike by the United States on Iran's most important nuclear site would likely have a much more devastating effect on the country's nuclear program than Israel could do on its own. Mr. Trump has long maintained that he does not want to get involved in wars with other countries and has expressed his desire for a nuclear agreement with Iran. However, on Tuesday, he stated that our patience is wearing thin. In the early hours of Wednesday morning, more than 50 Israeli warplanes attacked targets across the Iranian capital, according to the Israeli military. It said that a nuclear centrifuge plant was among the targets. The Iranian authorities did not immediately comment on the claims, while the UN's nuclear watchdog said it had information suggesting that 2 centrifuge production facilities had been hit. Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, called Israel a terrorist regime in a defiant statement early on Wednesday morning local time. In a social media post, he wrote, "We must give a strong response to Israel," and called for no mercy. The possibility of American military intervention was not brought up by him. Israel claimed that Iran intercepted the majority of the missiles and all of the drones it fired at Israel in 2 barrages after midnight and in 2 waves on Wednesday morning. Iran fired approximately 30 ballistic missiles at Israel. There were no immediate reports of casualties, and Iran's missile salvos appeared to be limited compared with earlier attacks. The U.S. president appeared to suggest that the United States could enter the Iran conflict as the Trump administration considers its next steps. He also mentioned the potential for the assassination of Ayatollah Khamenei and used the word "we" to refer to Israeli military operations. Mr. says, "We are not going to take him out, kill. For the time being." Trump wrote, Israel considers Iran's nuclear program to be an existential threat. Since it began attacking Iran on Friday, the Israeli military has struck and damaged some of the country's most important nuclear facilities, but it is unable to effectively attack Fordo, Iran's most important nuclear facility, which is deep underground. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel wants the United States to drop its biggest bunker-busting bombs on Fordo. Mr. Trump and Mr. Netanyahu spoke on the phone on Tuesday, according to a Trump administration official who did not provide details. According to Iranian officials, if the United States enters the conflict, it will attack American bases in the area. Iran has prepared missiles for these possible strikes, according to U.S. officials who have reviewed intelligence reports. Another thing to know, change in strategy. Israel is waging a brazen, all-encompassing attack in Iran that it has long threatened but never attempted. Since Iran's ally Hamas attacked Israel in October 2023, the campaign shows a remarkable shift in Israeli military doctrine. That change has redrawn the power dynamics in the Middle East, unraveled Iran's regional alliance and enshrined Israel as the dominant military force in the region. Stranded travelers. The first flights carrying Israelis stranded overseas landed at Ben Gurion International Airport on Wednesday as part of a wave of special transports to bring citizens home. Thousands of international tourists have been unable to leave Israel since the country's airspace was closed to civilian flights last week. Internet disrupted. Internet services across Iran are suffering severe disruptions, according to experts and Iranians, who say the government is likely restricting access to limit the spread of information about strikes and for fear of Israeli cyber attacks. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva appears to be playing down the possibility of an early resumption of negotiations over its nuclear program. For the time being, we can't focus on anything but defending ourselves, the ambassador, Ali Bahraini, told journalists. The priority now is to put an end to attacks and aggression. The Israeli military said that one of its drones has been shot down in Iranian territory. The military has been using drones to help with real-time intelligence gathering, and the incident was the first time one has been down since fighting began. The Israeli military said that there was no risk of an information breach from the incident, and the chief military spokesman, Brig. Gen. Fed Frin, insisted that Israel maintained air superiority in the skies over Iran. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei told Al Jazeera English that any U.S. intervention would be a recipe for an all-out war in the region and would be extremely reckless, extremely irresponsible. He also said that Iran was still willing to negotiate a solution. Diplomacy never ends, he said, adding that amid the fighting, our diplomacy is at work. The UN's nuclear watchdog said it had information suggesting that 2 centrifuge production facilities in Iran had been hit, hours after Israel claimed that its warplanes had attacked a centrifuge plant in the country. It said that one building was hit at the Tehran Research Center, where advanced centrifuge rotors were manufactured and tested. 2 buildings were destroyed at the Tisa carriage workshop where different centrifuge components were manufactured, the watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, said in a social media post.